Welcome, Mr. Marco, to ET Telecom's 5G Industries Innovation Summit. So, first of all, how has been your experience at this event?
It's been a great event so far. It's my first event with ET Telecom in India. A lot of insights that I gained from the Indian market when it comes to telecom, a lot of takeaways as well, and good relationships that we established today. So, great event.
Perfect, perfect. So, to ask you, how are the connected vehicles industry? What are the challenges and the use cases that you see coming up in this space, especially at a time, when 5G has been launched?
Yeah, I think there's a number of challenges that the industry faces. One is them has to do with connectivity. I think that's connected car obviously requires connectivity. I think the 5G networks are a good foundation to get the connected cars use cases running. But we know that longer term it will not be sufficient, and they need to move to other technologies as well to have seamless connectivity, which is required for autonomous driving, software-defined vehicles, and so on, which are the use cases that are more futuristic. If you look at the here and now, the use cases that we're working on as Tata Comms are mostly around telemetry, infotainment use cases, private network use cases, all in the 5G space, where the monetization and savings are already taking place. The other ones I was talking about, autonomous driving, software-defined vehicles are upcoming. We're working on those, but we expect those to be a few years out still.
But what are the challenges do you see in this space?
I think the challenge is about adoption of different technologies, right? It's not just the connectivity that has to work, and connectivity, by the way, is much wider than just cellular connectivity. You have to think about how do you integrate cloud, how do you integrate network, how do you integrate customer interaction, how do you integrate that mobile connectivity, which we do in a digital fabric. How do you absorb that and consume that in an easy way? But beyond that, obviously, there's applications sitting on top of that. If you think about the vehicle itself, there's a lot of microprocessors in the car that have their own protocols which are not interoperable. So there's a problem to solve there as well. So I think in different places there are different problems to solve. From our perspective, let's say making that consumption of connectivity as simple as you can, and to be able to use the data in the best possible way, because it's all about using the data for connected vehicles, is what we do through our digital fabric, and that's where we play.
But are connected vehicles sustainable? And also, what about data privacy and security aspects to it?
Yeah, obviously, security, data privacy is a key point, and obviously, our solutions are inherently secure, and the standards will make sure that there is security by design. So we have to work on that. We have to comply with the standards. We have to comply with regulations. That's a given. In terms of sorry, I missed the other point. Sorry, apologies for that.
Data security and privacy aspect.
Yeah, so those are data security. Thank you for reminding me. So data security, obviously, we solve on a network level where we have multiple solutions that we embed on the device, that we embed on the cloud, on the edge, to make sure that data is transferred in the most secure possible way, and that there's no breaches possible, as much as we can obviously guarantee. Again, those two items are embedded in the solution that we build, all the way from the network all the way to the SIM card, and we're following the standards, we're following the regulations on that part very closely.
So, what are the innovations that we can see in this connected vehicle space, and how, as Tata Communications, leading from the front?
So the innovations are going really quickly. Different markets have different levels of maturity. Obviously, we're well entrenched in the Indian markets, where we work with auto OEMs, but also internationally. I think the trend that is happening right now is truly getting a lot of logic offboarded from the car, which is a software-defined vehicle. I think that's the next big thing that is happening in conjunction to autonomous driving. I think autonomous driving has been a promise for a while. I think the automotive industry struggles a little bit to get that to market at the level 5 autonomous driving. But we do see those two elements to be really critical going forward for the connected car. Alongside that, obviously, It's an important part. EV is around already almost everywhere, but it's not so easy to provide, let's say, fully reliable EV charging solutions where the driver has visibility as to where a charging point is available, what is the capacity, finding optimized routes to get there. All these services in the end have to be made available to the end users to make the experience drive the adoption of EV. So I think EV is another big element of connected car that is happening right now.
Okay, okay. So lastly, how big is the Indian market for you, as in terms of this connected vehicle space? We have only recently started seeing adoption of 5G also.
It's an important market. Indian market is an important market, obviously because of its size. I think it's also true that the Indian market is obviously a very price-sensitive market. It's early stages still. I believe that with the growth of the economy, the adoption will rapidly increase as well. So there's a lot of, let's say, pieces that are getting in place to accelerate the adoption of connected vehicles. But clearly, there's already a significant market right now, not just in the personal vehicles, but also in the commercial vehicles. So in both spaces, we see adoption of connected vehicle use cases, and we also see already traction on the more advanced use cases. And the other thing that is happening as well is the internationalization, if you will, of the Indian market, where the local OEMs are expanding in other markets, which also means that you need to have solutions that work on a global scale, which is not that evident, and that can consume all that data that I was talking about before in a very seamless way to a single platform. And we're trying to facilitate that with our Move platform, truly simplifying the connectivity on the one hand, but also the data enablement on the other hand, that the auto OEMs are monetizing in terms of cost savings and in terms of revenue streams that they are generating on the basis of that. So I think that's where we are right now, and that will develop over the next few years for sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your insights. It was pleasure having you here.
Thank you for having me.